Hello, everyone. This is an update on all of our projects that we have going on right now through Theory Generator Playground. I'm going to specifically look at the cerebral palsy projects and what I need from you if you've volunteered in the last month or two and you're interested in being listed on one of our abstracts or attending one of the conferences that's coming up, I think in early spring. So again, I'm Adrienne Martinez, and I facilitate this group of student researchers that are generally focused on Latino health issues, but we sometimes branch out into other issues that affect vulnerable populations, people who are underserved, people for whom there's potential to make adjustments to existing health policy or social services policy to make sure that they're really having their needs met. So that being said, I am now going to expand out the screen and show you a little bit of what we're working on and kind of where there's a place for you within this space. So now I'm sharing, or at least you should be seeing my screen. All right, there we go. So most of you know that the first project that we did was a translation sheet where we were working with Dr. Eric Fine, and we had a study coming up on emotional well-being. So I asked you to take that consent form that we had in English and translate it into another threshold language, which is a language in LA County, above which a certain number of people in the county speak that language. And there's a huge variety of these languages. There's Spanish and Tagalog and, oh my gosh, so many, Thai, Korean. And so what we wanted to do was to have that consent available in some of these other languages as we presented it to the IRB or ethics board. So I don't have that up here. Let me actually grab that before I move on. So I wanted to thank you all for participating in that. So here we go. Let's see. This should look familiar to you. This is called Bring Change to Mind High School Youth Leadership Club, and what we were doing was we were validating basically what they found. And so this was a joint venture with UCLA, LA Biomed, the Bright Star schools. And so I asked some of you to look through and translate this, and I did get quite a few submissions. Thank you for doing that. Make sure that when you're doing projects like this with us, you have either received an email from me telling you how to list it on your CV or resume. And then if you're at the place where you're writing applications, feel free to reach out to me so I can talk to you about how you can really frame this within essays that are asking you about, like, what are your interests, what are your volunteer activities, that sort of thing. Because we have found that it makes a huge difference in terms of acceptance to different programs. So make sure you reach out. So give yourself credit for that, and congratulations to us for kind of getting that moving. The Bring Change to Mind study is going to be ramping up fairly soon, so we are going to need people to volunteer on site to recruit students and collect data and eventually to analyze data. So more about that later. Now back to the cerebral palsy project. So based on our previous discussions in our last two meetings, this paper was created, a policy brief, enhanced funding for community-based services as a path to family empowerment among individuals living with cerebral palsy or intellectual and developmental disabilities and their family caregivers. And so this is the abstract that was submitted to UCLA Research Days. This was a paper that I wrote, and so you'll see I'm the only author listed here because it's a paper that I wrote. But this is what you'll see with all of the other abstracts that we're going to submit. And what I need from you at the end of this video is I'd like you to email me what your information would look like formatted this way. So what's your full name? What is your any sort of credentials or certificates or licenses that you need me listing there? The school that you're affiliated with. If you're not affiliated with the school, then whatever company you're working for, wherever you most recently graduated from, that sort of thing. And then I'll be creating abstracts that highlight these topics, the research question, the purposes of the study, sometimes a conceptual framework if we have one, there isn't always one, what our methodology was, what we came up with, the results, and the conclusions. In this case, I had a pretty hefty footnote because I had a conceptual framework and I wanted to make sure that they understood where that was coming from. But it is essentially a one-page abstract that we're submitting to conferences so that our posters can be accepted. And then you have something that's technically published. So spaces where you can still be involved if you haven't participated in those projects. I'm sure you have been sending me information about information from blogs or comment sections or other qualitative literature, so focused on the words, or you wouldn't be getting this email. And the idea is that I've gotten a ton of different quotes and information. This is actually the big one. Caregiver Voices in the Blogosphere, which is the name of the paper that we're working on right now, paper/poster. And you'll see most of you sent me quotes or screenshots of things that people were saying. And you can see we have quite a few of them that have detailed information. What I really do need if you're sending these in is not only the quote, but the citation so that I know that we can use them without infringing on anybody's privacy, or we're making sure that they're publicly available. And also, we don't want to be accused of plagiarism, right? So we want to make sure that we have the full citation. But you can see I've had quite a few of you submit them, which is really fantastic. There's a ton of information here, definitely enough for us to kind of ferret through and create an abstract. And so that's kind of the next phase. The abstract for Caregiver Voices in the Blogosphere, again, if you sent me some of this information, please send me that thing where it's your full name with title and then your background, because I need to be able to have you to submit as an author when the abstract initially gets submitted, because that's the only way that you'll be listed in the program and kind of published. And it'll be the only way that people can kind of look you up later. Let's say you apply for some master's program and they want to see whether or not what you wrote on there actually exists. I need your name so that they can actually look you up and verify that you did participate. The other one that we're working on right now is called Compound Caregiving, challenges facing those providing simultaneous care to parents or elder spouses and children with cerebral palsy or IDD. So it's the idea, it's this group of people who are kind of surrounded by people that need them. And as a consequence, their mental and physical and financial health suffers. And so we want to highlight that. So same thing. Going to create an abstract, need your name and information if you submitted anything for this project. I want to make sure that everyone gets credit. The requirements generally of the abstract is that they have to be 250 words or less. So it really forces you to go through this information and synthesize it, kind of get it small, only text, and then they usually tell you what they want on there, right? Purpose, methods, results, and conclusions. So we'll be continuing to work on these projects. You're welcome to work as little or as much as you'd like. I was going to stop sharing, but let me actually show you kind of what the, so for example, in the Compound Caregiver abstract, we're not going to be submitting that to the School of Nursing Research Days because it's actually more appropriate for this research conference on aging, which is a multidisciplinary conference, although it tends to be a little more focused on biological bench research and medicine. But that's fine. And so we're going to be submitting it here. This is kind of what the application looks like. You're welcome to look it up online if you'd like. You don't have to submit separately because we will be submitting as a group. But you do need to register, especially if you're going to go with us on May 29th and you're planning on eating lunch. You're going to want to send me your information, but then also go online and make sure that they have your information so that, we'll go look at posters, we'll do our presentation, and then at some point we will stop, kind of hang out with the other professors and people that are working there and just kind of let them know about our projects, let them know about our interests. As I mentioned last year when we did this as a group, 2 of our people got offered positions in labs. So it is a good time for you to kind of get out there and make some connections. We have a ton of stuff going on. Yesterday, we did a community verification survey for this cerebral palsy project that we're working on. So thank you to Danny and Teresa who came out to do that. As a final note, always feel free to reach out to me. If you are looking at a scholarship essay or an application essay, I may not be available, but I have a ton of people in my network who can read your stuff and give you some feedback. It's always nice to get another pair of eyes on something important that you're going to submit. The other thing is that maybe you're watching this video and you feel like, I wanted to be involved and I only did a little bit at the beginning, but then I kind of just, it petered off. It's fine. The way we do this research collective is that we have zero gatekeeping, which means any amount of participation that you want to have is fine. I'm not here to scold you if you've been busy. I'm not here to tell you that, like, no, you have to meet these certain requirements and parameters in order to be involved. It's literally not that way. If there's anything that we can do for you that is helpful, if there's any connections that I can personally make for you that's helpful, that's what we're doing. I only ask that you respect that this is, an unpaid position and that I am a doctoral student, so I'm kind of doing what I can. But at the same time, I really think we're so much stronger together. And I feel like the way we diversify the healthcare field, not just clinically, but academically, is to make sure that we're supporting each other and kind of putting a hand down and lifting other people up. And I'm hoping that the people that come out of this group leave here with that same ethos and kind of carry that forward. So that's our update on all of our projects going on right now. I know it's very busy. Once these abstracts get submitted in the next week or so, the next phase that we're going to do is move into this emotional well-being project. So keep your eyes open for that. I hope everyone is doing well. I know we got through midterms and now we're kind of mid-quarter, mid-end of the quarter. So good luck. Take care of yourself. Don't be too stressed, and reach out if you need any help. Thanks.